Brock Purdy, I asked him about Tanner Mordecai this week, and he said, man, and he was very impressed. And he's like, Tanner can rip it. And he kind of smiled about it. And I'm seeing a very talented quarterback who looks to have the best arm of any of their quarterbacks, has great mobility, and looks really good. But I also know the dynamic at play here, right? I asked Brian Greasy about Mordecai, and he likes him, but he's like, hey, man, we're trying to win a Super Bowl here. So, in other words, we probably don't want a rookie as our number 2 quarterback since we're trying to win the Super Bowl. But that's assuming that Mordecai is not as good as Dobbs or Allen. Well, I thought Allen and Dobbs both played well tonight, but we didn't see Mordecai at all. And you guys know that after the Niners discovered Brock Purdy, every team in the league is taking notice of the fact that they have now shown interest in Tanner Mordecai. If Mordecai plays well in the preseason, they're going to have to slip him through waivers. If they bury him and don't play him in the preseason, there's a very good chance that they can slip him through waivers and he'll go unclaimed and they'll have a quarterback that they really like on the practice squad. What do you think? Do you think that Tanner Mordecai not playing tonight shows that they don't like him or that they really like him? What do you think?
Well, I think they should just ask you if you like him because you like Brock.
That's right.
That if you think he should be there, then that should settle it right there. They should just call the quarterback whisperer Larry Krueger.
There you go.
No, I'm serious. I have a question for you. What's your comparison of Mordecai watching him versus Purdy in his rookie year? Who has the edge?
Purdy. I mean, they're very, very, very similar. They're both about 6 feet, 220, veteran quarterbacks who had played well in college, who have a mobility trait that other teams, that defensive players really don't take into account. When you watch Brock Purdy, the thing that nobody takes into account is the 1-5-4 10-yard split, how quick he is. That's where he's always getting away, and the same thing with Mordecai. I think they don't, you watch Mordecai run, he's got 4.46 speed. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks with 4.4 speed. So I think and you can kind of tell when you watch defenders defend him when he runs, he likes to run it down the middle of the field, and they take bad angles because they think he's 1 speed and he's faster. So they take the wrong angle. So he kind of reminds me a little bit of Brock in that he's the same size. He's mastering all these drills. He's a leader. He's fiery. He's not the biggest guy, but he's got some mobility. In a lot of ways, he reminds me of Brock. I don't think he's an NFL starter, but I do think he's probably better than Dobbs or Allen. But we'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to play Mordecai in the preseason, or do you think they like Mordecai and they're trying to hide him?
I mean, I can't really.
He didn't play tonight.
I can't really speak on Mordecai because I've never seen him play. Really, I mean, I feel like only JD and you can really talk about what you've seen from Mordecai. But in terms of the QB2 battle, I thought Allen had the edge tonight. I thought he looked a lot more accurate. I think as a quarterback too, I'd rather have Allen, even though Dobbs gives you more upside and he's a little bit more exciting. I don't know. Is that what you want at quarterback too? Do you want a guy that has a high ceiling and a low floor, or do you want a guy who's more steady? I feel like it's, especially with just the scheme fit, I'd probably go Allen after what I saw tonight. But I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I thought Allen came in as number 2 and ended as number 2. I do think Dobbs may have closed the gap a little bit. I don't think either Brandon Allen or Josh Dobbs are good enough to where you can basically keep one and say, hey, one's the guy and then the other one's not. Like, I think going into the year, I'd probably look to keep all 3. But that's not answering the question at hand. And the question at hand was about Tanner Mordecai. So I'm gonna try to bring it back to that, which is I think they like him. I do think he's going to play in the preseason, but I also think they're probably going to have to try to sneak him through waivers and get him back on the practice squad. But it kind of looks like he's not maybe going to play much, but you can get away with that when you legitimately have a 2 and a 3 that you don't know which one or have one that's dramatically better than the other. And that's my big takeaway, Larry, is I don't think either is dramatically better than the other between Dobbs and Allen.
Who would you guys say if the Niners lost Brock Purdy in the first month of the year for a month and a half, 6 weeks, not for the season? But he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Would the Niners, do you think, roll with Allen, Dobbs, Mordecai? Would they roll with what they got? Or if Brock Purdy was going to miss 6 games, would they say, you know what, we can't afford to not make the playoffs? We know Brock's coming back. We're going to spend some draft capital on veteran quarterback X to come in here,
Jimmy
try
G.
to win some games.
Well, I've got a name.
Jimmy G. By the way, Jimmy G is not outrageous. Jimmy G is playing poorly for the Rams right now, and there's a lot of speculation that they may cut Jimmy G.
How'd J.J. McCarthy look today?
I didn't see it, but I've heard J.J. McCarthy has not looked good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was just saying.
I'm asking. I didn't see it though.
Can you get Sam Darnold? Can you get Sam Darnold back?
Ooh, I wasn't thinking about that.
I was saying, like, to me, the thing you need to root for is, can J.J. McCarthy beat out Sam Darnold to the point where he looks like a guy? And again, this is a hypothetical. I'm not saying it's. And then maybe can you get Sam Darnold back potentially into the fold with some of that cap space that you've saved for this, one more year? If Darnold's in a position where he's maybe not going to play again, you're not going to do that unless you have an injury. But I think he would be somebody right at the top of the list of guys that maybe they would look at if there was a long-term injury. I will say this about the quarterback spot, and then other guys can get in on it. I think they're screwed if it's a 6 to 8 week kind of 2 to 4. I think they could probably survive with Allen or Dobbs. 6 to 8 or more, and I think they're in big trouble.
Kev, Danny, what do you guys think?
I mean, it's not looking good if that's the case. I'm just looking at their stats right now. Brandon Allen's 2-7 on his career, and Josh Dobbs is 3-11. So it's
3-11.
It's not looking good, which is weird because you get the feeling like, I don't know, something about last year told me that Josh Dobbs was this sneaky good quarterback, but he's only 3-11 in his career. So
no, he starts well, and then as he has to play more, it kind of falls apart on him. But by the way, McCarthy today against the Raiders, 11-17 for 188 yards. He had a couple of touchdowns and a 116.8 rating. I caught a little bit of that game, but I was kind of doing some other things. So McCarthy did look pretty good today, although his camp maybe had been more on the downturn than the actual gameplay today.